Oh hey, you're new to Food Chain Magnate and you want to know how it looks and plays in this new special edition? Join me for a 30-minute bit of gameplay and you'll find out a little bit more about the game as we play. Hello and welcome to the sleepy town of insert name here, where two rival food chain franchises have just set up store in town. We have Gluttony Inc., this green restaurant here, and Santa Maria Pizza set up over here. They are going to be competing for fast food glory. Now, if you're looking for a learn to play or an in-depth playthrough, you will not find that here. The purpose of this video is a 30-minute sort of learn as we play, showing you the very, very basics of Food Chain Magnate, giving you a better idea of whether or not this might be a game for you. Now, we are looking at the special edition here. You'll notice all the minis on the table. There's plenty more in the box than what I've got here on the table, but there's lots of things to look at here. Some things will be shown off camera, but I'm going to try and show as much as possible in the space of this video. Now, in Food Chain Magnate, you each start with a CEO, and from there you'll slowly build a food chain empire over the course of the game. We've got to start small, and I'm going to take you through exactly how the game runs, so again, you'll get a feel for how things work. Now, the first thing you'll do every round is play your staff for the round, and at the start, as I mentioned, everybody only has one member of staff, so we've essentially already done that. Now in step 2, we go to order of business. Now, as you'll notice on these cards here, they've got these 3 little numbers on them, 1, 2, 3. This represents the fact that we can have 3 staff members working underneath the CEO. We've got plenty of staff here, and we'll get to those shortly. But as I say, for now, nobody's played any staff, so in the order of business phase, we check to see how many gaps there are under each CEO, under their company pyramid. And whoever has the most gaps essentially gets to change the turn order and decide if they want to go first or last. Now we've got a 2-player game set up here. Everybody's got the same amount of gaps, so we keep things in the same order, as it were. Gluttony Inc. will say, yeah, okay, I'm going to go first. We keep things in the same order. They're going to go first. And Santa Maria Pizza, the pinky red one, they're going to go second. So we now go on to stage 3, working 9 to 5. Now I'm going to make some really bad choices here, so don't come at me, Food Chain Magnate purists, because the idea is, like I say, I want to show off as much of the game as possible. So, the Chief Executive Officer's ability, as it were, is to hire 1 entry-level employee. Now on the left over here, these are all of our entry-level employees. The goal of the game in the long run is to make as much money as possible. There are multiple ways to do that, but we're all going to have to do some of the same sorts of things. We have to create food, obviously. We have to market said food, obviously. So with that in mind, that's what I'm going to do for these guys' first turn. This guy over here, Gluttony Inc., they are going to hire a marketing trainee, which will allow us, I'm going to put all these assets up on screen, by the way, in case you can't see what we're looking at. When you hire someone, they go on the bench, on the beach, sorry, we don't get to activate them this round, but we will next round. What was I going to say? So yes, in the next round, we're going to hope to start marketing some food. Again, we can't just go hiring the best in the business. We have to start small and work our way up. Now, essentially, that would be the end of Gluttony Inc.'s turn. So we now go over to Santa Maria Pizza. And this is all public information. They've seen that Gluttony Inc. Burger have hired a marketing trainee. They know exactly what they're going to be doing next turn, most likely. So with that in mind, these guys are going to hire a kitchen trainee, which will allow them to start making food. And that is their hire done. They've activated all of their cards, they've hired someone, and now we go on to the next stage. But because it's round 1, we're not actually going to see a lot of action here, because in stage 4, dinner time, we'd be looking on the map to see if anyone is hungry for any food. And right now, nobody is, so we can skip that phase. Step 5, we head on to payday, and if you hire anybody, I'm just going to pick up this pizza chef as an example. If you hire anybody that has this stack of bills in the bottom right corner, then you have to pay them. You have to pay them $5. Otherwise, they work for free. Don't ask me about the ethics of that, but they work for free in your establishment. So at the minute, nobody has any salaries to pay. Oh, hey, Ro, how are you doing? You come to check it out, Food Chain Magnate? Thank you very much. So at the start of the game, you've got no salaries to pay. I should also mention that at the start of the game, you start off with 0 cash. So, you know, no generous donations from friends or family here. So we go on to step 6, which is marketing. As I say, we've got no marketeers in play, but next turn we will with this marketing trainee. I think I might have placed that too far off camera. And now we go on to stage 7, which is cleanup. So there's nothing actually to clean up on the main board right now, but we can clean up these pyramids of cards, and that would be the end of round 1. How easy was that? See, this is such an easy game to pick up. Now we can proceed to round 2. So now we move on to round 2, where things are going to get a little bit more crunchy, but don't worry, I'll be here with you every step of the way. So we go back to the start of the menu, up to the top, and we go on to restructuring, which is where every player secretly chooses what they're going to do. Now this would be done secretly, as I mentioned, but because we're trying to do an open video here, I'll just show you what everyone's doing. So they've secretly decided what they're doing, and now we play down our cards. And bear in mind, we have to abide by the number of slots in the CEO's tree. Over the course of the game, you can get managers, which will allow you to add more employees to your tree, but let's worry about that later on. Right now, we only have a couple of employees per business, so we're all good. We move on to step 2, order of business. Each tree has 2 slots in it, 2 gaps. So essentially, we're going to stay the same as the last round. We take the turn order trackers off the tracker, and Gluttony Inc. gets the choice of whether they would like to go first or second. They're going to go first, which means Santa Maria Pizza goes second. So now we move on to step 3, working 9 to 5. We follow a specific order of actions, starting with hiring. The CEO of this business, Gluttony Inc., is going to say, you know what, hiring 1 employee a turn is really slow business, so let's hire a recruiting girl who will allow us to hire more staff at a faster rate. She goes on the beach, and she'll be able to be used next turn, next round. We then move on to our marketing trainee, and he's going to allow us to start marketing food or drink to the residents of this town. We can place a billboard campaign. Now, you'll notice in the top right of this card, there is a 2 in a kind of sign shape, and that's important, and it means it's the range which he can drive to place this campaign. He starts out from Gluttony Inc. restaurant. You'll notice there's a little cutaway in the corner, which marks the entrance of the restaurant. So we could go, so this would be space 0, we can go 1, 2, or we could go 0, 1, 2. But a billboard, in order to be effective, has to touch a house. So let's say, for example, he's going to drive out of the restaurant here and place a billboard just here. Now he gets to choose what he markets. He can market something for up to 2 rounds max, and let's say they're going to market pizza for 2 rounds. So we grab 2 slices of pizza, put 2 of them on the billboard, and that represents 2 rounds of marketing. However, as I mentioned at the start, we've got these milestones down here we're looking to accomplish, and we've actually accomplished 2 here for Gluttony Inc. We've achieved the first pizza marketed, which means every pizza we now sell for the duration of the game is worth an extra $5. Wow! And we've also unlocked the first billboard campaign achievement, which means 2 things. Number 1, our marketeers, we never have to pay salaries for them. We wouldn't have to pay any salaries for this guy anyway. But we will with our more advanced marketing trainees. We'll cover those in a second, our marketeers. And all our campaigns are eternal. So I mentioned previously we were going to market pizza for 2 rounds. That's not the case anymore. This campaign is now going to last forever and ever. So we pop that signpost into the billboard, and that's going to stay there for the rest of the game. Nothing is going to change that. So just to show that that's the campaign he's working on over there, we grab the number 12 token, and we can just sit him off over there. He's only 1 man. He can only run 1 marketing campaign at once, and he is going to be busy for the rest of the game. So that is the end of Gluttony Inc.'s turn. Now I should say multiple people can achieve these achievements, these milestones, but it has to be done in the same turn. So in order for Santa Maria Pizza to take advantage of those same milestones, they would have to be doing things this turn. However, they don't have a marketeer. They are not going to be putting down a billboard, so we can cross off those. That is impossible for those to be accomplished by Santa Maria Pizza. So over to Santa Maria. What are they going to do with the rest of their turn? Well, they've just witnessed marketing springing up, and they realise, yeah, we should probably be doing that as well. So let's say they hire a marketing trainee as well. They're going to sit on the beach, and we're going to come to those in a second. We then have a kitchen trainee, and kitchen trainee is looking at the map and saying, well, there's demand for pizza now, so sure, let's make ourselves a pizza. And we'll put it just over here in our general supply of food. And that would be their turn done as well. We've hired and we've produced. We've got no more actions left to take. So we can move on to stage 4, which is dinner time. Now at this point we'll be looking for any of these houses on the board which have food on them. We still don't have that, so we can skip this phase. We then move on to payday. We would pay the employees with the buckaroo sign in the bottom right. We don't have anyone to pay yet, which is just as well, because nobody has any cash. We then go on to marketing. And I should say, actually, if I rewind real quick, I've actually done something with the Santa Maria Pizza restaurant. We've produced the first pizza. So we check off that milestone. We then equally cross it out for Gluttony Inc. And they get free Pizza Cook, which is a slightly better version of the kitchen trainee. They can produce 1 burger or 1 pizza. Our Pizza Cook can produce 3 pizzas. Now, normally, if you can't pay an employee who needs to be paid, you have to fire them. But just to keep this video rolling along, let's pretend in this example that we have money to pay this employee, at least in this stage. And you'll notice they have got a salary on them. So these guys need to start thinking about earning some dosh real quick. We would now go on to marketing, as I say, where we activate all of the blue marketing minis on the board. In this case, the billboard. As I mentioned, a billboard has to be next to a house in order to activate. So this house suddenly gets a craving for pizza. They look outside the window, they see a massive billboard for pizza, and they say, oh yeah, I want a slice of that. And that's the end of that. They're going to keep acquiring this craving for pizza as long as that billboard stays there, which we know it will. So that house is going to be wanting pizza pretty much for the rest of the game. Exceptions will apply, but let's not overcomplicate things. They're going to want some pizza. We now go on to the cleanup phase. Now, unfortunately, in real life, leftover pizza is pretty good, but in this game, leftovers, they're no good. So we've got to throw this pizza away. Nobody ate it, we've got to throw it away. And actually, that's worked in our benefit because we now unlock the first to throw away food or drink milestone, which gets Santa Maria Pizza a freezer. And there it is, that is going to sit over here. Now in future, when Santa Maria Pizza would have to throw things away, we can store up to 10 items in our freezer. Fantastic. On the flip side, Gluttony Inc. has lost out on that achievement. They are not going to get a freezer, so any food that they produce that is not sold, they're going to have to throw it away. And we clean up. So this desire for pizza is going to stay here, but we can now remove all these cards in play, with the exception of the trainee over here, who stays busy because he's working on that campaign. It's a hard life watching a billboard, so he's going to stay over there. And that would be the end of round 2. Now, hopefully you're starting to see how things are coming together here. We go back to the top and we go back to structuring our pyramids of employees. Again, we're doing this secretly, but I'm just going to put everything on the table. We've got 3 slots for Santa Maria Pizza, and would you know it, we have 3 employees we can play over here. And over here, unfortunately for Gluttony Inc. Well, not necessarily unfortunately, but we've got 2 employees, or rather, we've got 1 employee over here who's busy, and we've got another one over here. Remember that Santa Maria Pizza unlocked this Pizza Cook last turn, and they're able to put them in play this turn. So, we've played our pyramids, and you'll notice we've got 2 gaps over here, so Gluttony Inc. in this case definitely get to decide if they want to go first or second, and they're going to go first. Why not? There are some advantages. There are certain times in the game where you'd want to go first and some where you'd want to go last, but in the words of Rodney Smith, I'll let you discover those on your own. So in which case, Gluttony Inc. is going first. We've got 2 opportunities to hire here. Now, they're looking over there at Santa Maria Pizza and saying, yeah, we could probably do with making some food of our own, so they're going to hire a kitchen trainee as well. And they're also going to hire what should we hire? Let's hire a pricing manager. Now, a pricing manager would lower the prices of our items, so hoping to get customers in at a lower cost. We'll learn more about that in a second. And that would essentially be it for Gluttony Inc. Our marketing trainee is busy. They're still promoting that campaign over there, so that would be the end of that. Now, you'll notice again, both those cards we've got over here do not require payment, so it doesn't matter that they're not getting any cash just yet. Now, Santa Maria Pizza looking over here, they've got a little bit more going on, but we can still hire more employees with our CEO. So let's say they're going to hire a trainer. Now, a trainer is going to let them level up their employees, but more on that in a second because we cannot activate that just yet. We'll have to wait until the next round. We then go on to the marketing, which is this marketing trainee here. We want to put another billboard on the ground, so why not? So again, we can move up to 2 spaces from our restaurant, which is this one here, the restaurant corner. the entrance in the corner just here. So we get to cross onto the road here, counts as 1, but that's fine because that's as far as I'm going to go with him. We're going to grab billboard number 14, slot that in there, and we get to choose what we want to market and how long we want to market it for. So we're going to market pizza, unsurprisingly. We're going to put a pizza there and a pizza there to represent the fact that we're marketing it for 2 rounds. Now, these guys do not have the achievement for eternal pizza marketing, so we do not put a flag in that billboard. We can now produce a ton of pizza. We can produce 3 pizzas plus an extra pizza for 4 pizzas. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you might say, Ben, that's a rubbish move, but it's fine. I'm just showing you the highlights of the game here, the overview. So that would be the end of that. We've played all of our cards for Santa Maria Pizza. We then move on to dinner time. Now, for the first time, we have a house in play with food on it. So we have to look and say, okay, who can provide that house with pizza? And unfortunately for Gluttony Inc., it is their billboard. They have advertised the pizza, but only Santa Maria Pizza has produced pizza to sell to that house. So it doesn't actually matter who the food belongs to. The customers are not picky, they just want to eat. So in this case, they're going to visit Santa Maria Pizza, assuming, of course, they can drive to the restaurant, which they can. We can trace a path all the way around to Santa Maria Pizza. So in which case, they're going to eat a slice of pizza from Santa Maria Pizza's supply. They go back in the box. And everything in this game at base value costs $10. There we go, we have made some cash. And that goes into Santa Maria's bank account. Now over here, I've actually got all of the money in the game just set up over here for this demonstration, but at the start of the game, you'll actually choose based on how long you want the game to last, which affects strategies on how much cash will be put into the bank. The game is over when the bank runs out of money twice. You'll add some money in at the start, it'll empty, you'll add some more money in, and when it empties out again, that triggers the end of the game, and whoever has the most money wins. So we have our first pizza sold. Congratulations, Santa Maria Pizza. That's the end of that. We would then go on to payday, and to payday, I don't know why I said it like that. And just in time too, because over in Santa Maria Pizza, we have one employee that requires a salary, even though technically we didn't need to play the pizza cook, but regardless of whether an employee is in your pyramid or on the beach, we got to pay them. So this $10 is sadly going to turn into $5, but it's not the end of the world because it's a start. Over here for Gluttony Inc., we have no employees demanding a salary, so we don't have to worry about the fact that we're low on cash. And that would be the end of payday. We then move on to marketing. As we mentioned before, this billboard is going to market pizza forever. We actually resolve all of these different blue marketing campaigns in order. So 12, 14, not that it makes any difference in this case, but that's how we do it. We would add a slice of pizza to house number 4, and this one over here adds a slice of pizza to house number 8. And that would essentially be a turn of marketing for this. We would remove one slice of pizza. After another turn, another marketing phase, that billboard is going to disappear. Unlike the Gluttony Inc. one over here, which is eternal, this one is only temporary. How poetic. So we've done the marketing, we now move on to the cleanup phase. As I mentioned before, any food that is not sold would normally be thrown away, but in the benefit of Santa Maria Pizza, it's going to go in the fridge, the freezer. So frozen pizza's good too. I hear Norway have them on Christmas Day. There you go, big shout out to Norway. That would be the end of that round. We would then again pick up all of our cards and we would go again, essentially. So on to the next round. Again, I'm going to try and show you as much as possible. There's a few things we haven't covered yet. We're never going to cover everything in this quick overview. An actual game of Food Chain Magnate can go on for a couple of hours. We're just going to make this quick so you can get an idea quite quickly of if this game is for you. I don't think I mentioned at the start of every game, this map is randomized and you have the option of where you place your restaurant, but on these tiles underneath, it does tell you where the houses go. So your game will be different every single time. There are some strategies that you can employ in every game, of course, but it's all going to revolve around what this map looks like. So I realised at the end of the last round I did commit a bit of a boo-boo. We're all doing this together, this is live, I'm winging it. So the marketing trainee, when he activates, should have been put out to one side with this busy token over here to show that this is their billboard, which is important because we're now into the next restructuring round. And if he had still been in our hand, Santa Maria Pizza would not have been able to play all of their cards. They only have room for 3, and we have 4 employees essentially. But it's fine. So again, we're doing this in secret, but I'm doing it openly so you can see everything that's going on. So everyone's secretly deciding which cards to play. And there we go. So everyone has played 3 cards, i.e. nobody has any gaps in their tree. So Gluttony Inc. gets to decide if they want to go first or second, and in this case, they're going to go first again, why not? Santa Maria Pizza would have to leave a gap when Gluttony Inc. didn't in order to try and reverse that turn order. So we go on to the working 9 to 5 stage, over to Gluttony Inc. over here. We've got 2 employees we can hire. So what would they like to do? Let's see what we've not used yet. Let's grab a waitress and let's grab an errand boy. Actually, I'll take that back. Let's not hire an errand boy, and we're going to hire a management trainee. You'll see why in a second. So they go on the beach. We then go on to the next step, which is preparing food and drinks. We can produce 1 burger or 1 pizza, and they're going to produce a pizza because there is demand for it on the board. And we've got the pricing manager over here, who isn't actually going to come into effect just yet, but our pricing manager over here can lower the price of our items by $1 at our restaurants. Now, remember what I said before, by default, everything costs 10, and you'll see why that's important in a second. So that would be the end of Gluttony Inc.'s turn. This guy over here is going to be marketing that pizza forever, so he's not going to do anything. Over here to Santa Maria Pizza, we have 3 employees and 1 hire that we can use. So what are they going to do? They're going to hire, let's say, I'll tell you what, they're going to hire an errand boy just to show you what those do. Even though I don't think that's a particularly effective move, but we'll cross that bridge in a second. So we've done our hiring. So we then move on to the next step, which is training employees, and that's when our trainer comes into effect. So our trainer can train 1 employee on the beach. Now, it just so happens we've hired this errand boy. We can immediately train him up to the next step up in that particular tree. I'm going to flash the menu up on screen now, showing you the career development paths of all our employees. And our errand boy can be trained to a cart operator, who is a slightly better version of the errand boy. So he's going to sit in our beach for now. We then move on to preparing food and drink. We know we can produce pizza and burgers with our pizza cook and kitchen trainee, but in this case, let's just say we're going to create 4 slices of pizza again. I'll tell you what, let's mix things up actually. Let's grab 3 slices of pizza and 1 burger, and we can pop those just again in this general area. We have this pizza in the fridge as well, but we'll cross that bridge in a second. I feel like I'm saying that a lot. So that would be the end of that. So we would then move on to the dinner time phase. Again, once you get to know this game, it can really rocket on by through these rounds. You will just have a lot of rounds. So now that we have 2 houses with food on them, we actually resolve them starting with the lowest numerical value and working our way up to the highest. So 4 is the lowest, and then we move on to 8. So in this case, we have Gluttony Inc. producing pizza, and, I've forgotten something. So we actually trained an employee for the first time, and that is a milestone. So we slot that into here for Santa Maria Pizza. They get a 15 salary discount. Hooray! Unfortunately, no training was done by Gluttony Inc., so they lose out on that milestone. Come on, guys, get it together. All right, so we move on to dinner time, as I was mentioning before. So we start with house number 4. We have 2 restaurants now with pizza. So how do we decide which one these customers want to eat at? And now we look at 2 things, because customers are petty. They obviously want the cheapest possible pizza, and they also don't want to drive too far to get to the restaurant. So in cases like this with 2 competing restaurants, we have to look at both the price of the food and the distance from the house to the restaurant. So let's start with Gluttony Inc. We know because of their pricing manager, their pizza costs $9 a slice, and as far as distance is concerned, they are 1 space from the restaurant entrance. Santa Maria Pizza, on the other hand, we know their base price is $10, and in order to trace a path from the restaurant to the house, that's 1, 2, over the bridge, 3, and then back over the border to the entrance, 4 tiles. So in terms of comparing one with the other, Santa Maria Pizza has a score of 14, and Gluttony Inc. has a score of 10. The customer will always eat at the restaurant with the lower value, representing an overall better balance of cost and distance, which is Gluttony Inc. It may have cost them $1, essentially, off the the normal $10 price, but they got the sale. And in this game, that is always going to be very important. So they get $9, and that pizza has been eaten. We then move on to number 8. Unfortunately, Gluttony Inc. is out of pizza. They're not the fastest at producing it, whereas these guys over here are absolutely... Pizza is flying out of the kitchen. So House 8 wants to eat pizza. Only Santa Maria can supply it. So this house will eat at Santa Maria Pizza. And it will cost $10. And they will get $10 to go in their bank. Okay, that will be pretty much that for dinner time, because there's no more food on these houses. We then go on to payday. Again, over here in Gluttony Inc. land, no employees want paying just yet. Over here, actually, we have 2 employees which demand payment. $5 for each of them, it would be normally, so $10. However, we just unlocked this milestone, which gives them a 15 salary discount. So essentially, they're working for us for free as well. That was a really good move by Santa Maria Pizza, if I do say so myself. We now go on to marketing. Again, now that we have 2 billboards on the board, we have to resolve these numerically, starting from the lowest and moving up to the highest. We put a slice of pizza on house number 4, and we put a slice of pizza on house number 8. And that was the second time marketing for this billboard. It now goes away. Unlike this one up here, it's not eternal. And as a result, this marketing trainee over here, who was previously busy, is now free to set up another campaign, potentially. That's the end of the marketing. We would now proceed to the cleanup phase. Again, normally Santa Maria Pizza would have to throw these burgers and pizzas away, but they're all going to go in the fridge. There's nothing to throw away for these guys. So we'd now put everything back into a stack for another turn. I also realised at the end of the last turn, this achievement would have triggered for Gluttony Inc., the first to lower prices. They unlock that. And as a result, they get another free discount, if you like, on all of their items. They don't have to play the pricing manager to do that, and Santa Maria Pizza have lost out on that particular achievement. All right, let's do another round. Apologies, my cat ran across the table in the previous round, between the rounds, and has made a little bit of a mess of everything, so it's a little bit higgledy-piggledy, but the town has survived and we can move on to, let's do one more round. So again, we'll be doing this in secret, but I'm just going to put everything on the table. So in this case, Santa Maria Pizza, we've got too many employees. We're not going to be able to play them all. So we've got to choose which ones we want to play. Let's put the cart operator in place so you can see how that one works. We've got loads of pizzas and burgers left over. So let's play the marketing trainee and put these 2 guys over here and over to Gluttony Inc. Burger. Now, because we got the management trainee in the previous round, we actually open up our pyramid a little bit more. We can have 2 slots underneath the management trainee, so we can essentially play everyone. Cool, so nobody has got any free slots, so we keep the same turn order. Gluttony Inc., yep, okay, they've decided they want to go first again. Santa Maria Pizza is going to go second. So that is order of business. We've gone to the working 9 to 5 stage. We always start with hiring. We've got 2 hires over here, and who are we going to hire? Let's say we're going to hire a trainer, and we're going to hire an errand boy. Why not? We're not going to get to see those in action, but let's just say we've hired those. The management trainee doesn't have an ability, but does allow people underneath him, so nothing to activate there. We would then go on to the next step, which is preparing food and drink. We can produce 1 burger or 1 pizza. Let's say they're going to produce a pizza. And that actually is it. Even though we have this pricing manager and waitress, those effects don't come into play just yet. We work on those later. So that is it for Gluttony Inc. We still have that marketing trainee in play. He's doing his own thing. He's chilling over there. Back over to Santa Maria Pizza. Again, we start with hiring. So who are they going to hire? Let's say they hire a management trainee. Again, we've got some gaps. We've got some employees who we can't fit into our pyramid, so we need some extra gaps. That's hiring. We then go on to training. Train an on-the-beach employee. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take this management trainee. Management trainee is the route to many different career options, and we're going to train him up to a new business developer. New business developers let us place more houses on the board, and additionally can place gardens. And when you put down a garden, you'll attach it to an existing house, or you can put down a house garden together. And when a house has a garden, they will actually pay double the price for any food that you have. So this pizza slice would be worth $20 instead of the usual 10, for example. Okay, so we've hired, we've trained, so we now run on to marketing. We can start another marketing campaign. We can now put another billboard on the map. And again, we're probably just going to put it back in the same place we had it before. It's no biggie. We can get to that one. And we're going to market. Now I think this time, because we've got that cart operator in play, we're going to market lemonade. So we're choosing to market lemonade. We're going to market it for 2 rounds, and that actually results in us getting a milestone achievement. We get the first drink marketed. So in future, Santa Maria Pizza, their drinks are worth an extra $5. We know already that they're not going to accomplish this milestone over at Gluttony Inc., so we're not going to get that one. And we now go back onto Santa Maria Pizza. We're playing the cart operator, which gets another milestone. The first cart operator has been played, and from now on, they get an extra range on drink routes. Now, cart operators, a lot like marketing trainees, have to drive around the town in order to accomplish whatever it is they're doing, in this case, it is collecting drinks. So our cart operator can collect 2 drinks from each supplier en route. That's these lemonade stands, these beer stands, and the soda stands. So he has to start off from the entrance of Santa Maria Pizza and can then drive 2 spaces. Hey Pips, that's my cat in the background, don't know if you can hear her. So he's going to come out of the entrance here. So that's 1, because we're crossing over a border. And then we're going to drive across the bridge for 2. We're passing this lemonade stand, which allows us to pick up 2 lemonades. Now, because of the achievement that I just unlocked, we could have driven an extra 1, so we would treat the 2 as a 3 range. We could have driven to collect some beer, perhaps. And in fact, we will, because even though we're not going to sell it this turn, it could come in handy for later. So instead, we go 0, 1, 2, and from there, we're not going to get to anything else. So we get the 2 beer as well. And put those over here. That shows he's collected those. And that would be the end of that. And that would be the end of working 9 to 5, actually. There's nothing more to do in this round. We then move on to dinner time. Again, we've got a pizza over here, and we've got a pizza over here. We have to resolve those one by one. House number 4 goes first. And again, we have pizza over here, and we have pizza over here. So we've got to go back to the 4 and figure out which one of those is going to win the pricing war, if you like. So again, sorry, this map is all higgledy-piggledy now. We can trace a path. We know these burgers cost $9 because of Gluttony Inc.'s pricing manager. And in addition, they cost an extra $1 less, so they're $8, in fact, from Gluttony Inc. And we know it is only going to be 1 space across to Gluttony Inc.'s restaurant, to the entrance. So their total score there is 9, in theory. Santa Maria Pizza, on the other hand, we know their pizza is going to cost 10. So in order to get to Santa Maria Pizza, of course, they have to get to the entrance. So from this house, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, and actually then back onto the restaurant here for 4. The other way around, of course, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. So either way, it's 4. Added onto the 10 is 14. Gluttony Inc. is going to win that battle. And we know, because of this, they're going to pay $8 for the pizza slice. And we also have this achievement down here, which adds on an extra 5. So we do get $13 out of that. So even though we've got those pricing managers, we come out on top when it comes to the cash. That's house number 4 done. They've eaten the pizza from Gluttony Inc. We've now got another house here, house number 8. We know they want a pizza, and the only place that can supply it is Santa Maria Pizza. They're going to eat that pizza from them. And again, they're going to get $10 for that pizza. That would take us to the end of the dinner time phase. In the next round, we'll start seeing some drinks on the board. We would go to the payday section. So starting with Santa Maria, we have 1, 2, and 3 employees that need paying, but we have a $15 salary discount. We don't have to pay any of them. All is good. Over here, we still don't have any employees who need paying, so nobody pays anything over here. And that would be payday. And finally, marketing. Again, this house is going to have a demand for a pizza. Now, this pizza is going to stay there. Sorry, it didn't. It got eaten. I should have removed that. My bad. Apologies. Whoop. This house is now going to want some lemonade. This house markets 1 lemonade to this house. Sorry, this billboard markets 1 lemonade to this house. And that would be the end of the marketing phase. We would need to move this over here to show they're working on billboard 14. And we would then go on to the cleanup phase. One more thing to mention that I completely forgot about was the waitress. Waitresses get us an extra $3 at dinner time. So we would gain a nice little extra bit of cash. Sorry, waitress, we're stealing your tips. And that would actually unlock a first waitress played milestone for our waitress, which gets us $2 more for each waitress played. And Santa Maria Pizza would miss out on that one, unfortunately. And in fact, we've got a lot of cash over here. In fact, we've got more than 20 bucks here and more than 20 bucks here. We've earned a lot of money for both of these. Both of these guys would achieve this at the same time. First to have 20 bucks. Macy Bank Reserve cards. I'll talk more about those in a second. So you're starting to get an idea of how this works. You'll keep playing, keep leveling up your employees, training more employees to make as much money as possible, quicker than your rivals. There's lots of different ways to market. You can market with, I'll show you a couple of these. We've got mailboxes, which target all of the houses in a block. A block is something that's not separated by roads. So in this case, this mailbox would target house number 8 and house number 16. We've also got these airplanes, which fly across the map and target everything they fly over. So in this case, the house number 4 and house number 16. And we also have radio towers, and radio towers are hugely powerful in a two-player game because they target the square they're on and all of the map squares around it. So in this case, it would target everywhere on the map. However, of course, these more powerful campaigns, you need to have... I'm making a mess of putting that back in the box. You need to have more powerful marketeers. For example, the brand director, who requires a little bit of leveling up to get to him. The most powerful employees on offer, there's only one of them up for grabs in a two-player game, so whoever gets there first is going to gain an advantage there. What other employees can we look at? We've got the Zeppelin pilot, who's the maxed out version of your car operator, your errand boys. They will get you drinks by flying over the different locations on the board. Let's have a look at our brand director again. He can place radio campaigns, airplane campaigns, mailboxes, or billboard campaigns, and they can run for up to 5 rounds max. Not as relevant in this case with the eternal marketing campaigns, but could be very useful for Santa Maria Pizza. We have gurus who can train up our employees that much faster. We have HR directors who allow you to hire lots of employees at once or get salary discounts. We also have chief financial officers who get you extra cash at dinner time. The regional managers allow you to add drive-in signs to your restaurants and even move them across the map. So you have a maximum of 3 restaurants that you can put on the board. And when you have a drive-in at your restaurant, you treat it as though it's got an entrance in all 4 corners. So very important when you're wanting to win those distance battles. So lots and lots of different strategies you can employ. This is all strategy, no luck. It is ruthless. If you're the kind of person who loves designing this big engine, crunching all your employees to make this perfect corporate machine, then this is definitely a game for you. Plays up to 5 in the base game, with the expansion plays up to 6. But of course, all you need is a minimum of 2 players, as you can see here, to get the fun going. I've been Ben, this has been Food Chain Magnate Special Edition. Check out our website and find out more about how you can get your hands on one of these final leftover copies from our Game Found campaign. Thanks for watching! Take this lid off and hopefully not spill the contents everywhere. I have a feeling everybody's going to want to see these minis in a little more detail, so let's lift these up to the camera. We've got